The business cycle is a vital concept in all commerce and economics courses. So today we ask ourselves, what is the business cycle and what are its features? Briefly, the business cycle is the fluctuation in the economy in terms of output and growth. It's measured by the changes in real GDP from one quarter to the next. In general, economic growth is a long-term upward growth trend, but in the short run, it experiences fluctuations that produce a wave-like pattern as shown. These patterns are called the phases of the business cycle, so let's look at these in more detail. Say we start at a peak in the growth rate of an economy. The peak is followed by a downturn in the economy, where there is a declining GDP known as a recession. Eventually, this will hit a low point known as a trough. Afterward, the economy will begin to recover and expand until once again it hits another peak, and so the cycle continues. An expansion is characterized by economic growth that is caused from business and consumer confidence. This is because when consumers are confident, they purchase now instead of later because they know that they will have future income to make further purchases. As a result, spending increases from both businesses and consumers, where employment is also increasing. Furthermore, investment is also high and property and stock market prices begin to rise. Overall, inflationary pressures are upward and prices tend to rise. A peak is realized when an economy is producing at its maximum allowed output. This is where demand is exceeding supply, and here the economy begins to overheat and overexpand with only one place to go: downward. During a recession, GDP growth rates begin to slow down. This is usually triggered by some sort of an event, such as a financial crisis, where fear and panic replaces the previous consumer confidence. Aggregate demand begins to fall, as does spending, and so do business profits. So consumers lose more jobs and unemployment begins to rise. Furthermore, prices and investment is also falling. A trough is the lowest point in a declining growth rate, where growth begins to curb. Confidence must be restored for an economy to re-enter an expansion, and this usually requires intervention from the government with monetary or fiscal policy. So to summarize, during an expansion, people enjoy the prosperity and confidence in their economic situation. But on the other hand, a recession is a time of stress and frustration, especially for business owners and the unemployed. It is important to note that the biggest indicators of the business cycle are output, consumer spending, inflation, employment levels, interest rates, and wage rates. So when you're in doubt, look to these to give you clues to the level of economic growth. And that is the business cycle.
Created using Powtoon.